postpone because you don't have anyone to do it, and you need to prioritize that you need to do other things.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same as being a mother. It's the same as everything, or being you're in a house. How many things you have to fix in the house? And if they're not broken, they can wait a little longer.
Exactly. Yeah. The remodeling in that bathroom that drives you bonkers, it works perfectly fine. Maybe you should spend the money on the things that are broken.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
So true.
And
Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's Scaling with People podcast. I'm excited to have Lara Schmoisman with me today, and we're going to be talking about her journey as a founder for her agency and how her agency supports other founders. Lara, I'd love to learn more about you.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me today. I don't know, what do you want to know about me?
Well, give us a little background about who you are and how you got to a place where you decided to start your own business.
Well, it's like everything in my life. I never really decide things, just happen. Well, I'm from Argentina originally. That's where the sexy accent comes from.
I love it.
And in Argentina, my last job there was a soap opera producer.
Oh my gosh. What was the soap opera?
I don't even remember. It was
That's fair.
So I came here I didn't speak a word of English. So I decided that I want to come to the States to learn English, which I came for 6 weeks. And while I was here, I started getting contacts, and they started asking me from other places in the world that, hey, you're in LA, can you cover the Oscars? Can you do the Grammys? And I was like, let me try. And I did it. So I kept staying and staying and staying. Then I got a wonderful visa. I met my husband. In the middle, I worked in red carpet for many years. I got into distribution, but then I started falling in love with digital too. My first website was before the 2000s, and that is giving away my age. And then but because my background is, my first degree is in screenwriting, my second degree is in production and direction of television, I started to have all this background that I can put in the digital world, which fascinated me. So I was there from the beginning. And so I was working in marketing and distribution, working for digital. I collaborate with huge companies, with small companies too. Then I became a professor of digital marketing for the fashion and accessories industry, which was very exciting. I love to mentor. I love to communicate with the newer generations, because you learn a lot from them. And because that's also one of our target audiences for many products. And then I was working for big agencies, and honestly, it was too much for me at the time. I had 2 kids, and it was a life that I was driving tons. I was coming home at past midnight every day. It just was too much for me, and I need something different. So what I did, I quit everything, and then I had people coming to me asking me for help. And SEO, I did it. I was an art director at some point. Everything, I did it. Writing, I did it. So I started helping people for free, honestly. And then someone heard that I was helping them. So, why are you doing it for them and not for me? So, and at some point, people start paying me very little, and which it wouldn't even support me. But then I had more people and more people. So I started getting some help part-time. And then I realized that there was really a gap, that for newer companies or startups, that everyone needs marketing. But I seen so many friends and family and all these people that start helping. First of all, they were frustrated because they felt that they've been taken advantage working with companies and paying a really high price and not getting what it was worth for them. And then many try to do it yourself, which is trying to do it yourself, then you're not running your business.
Right.
And the third problem was to work with freelancers. And freelancers, which they could be great at what they do, if you don't give them the strategy, you don't know how to tell them in their own language what to do, it's setting you up for failure. So I realized that there was this huge gap between the big agencies and the freelancers or do-it-yourself. So I wanted to create a space that it will help companies' growth. And in the other hand, I found out another thing, that there were a lot of newer companies that they were doing performance marketing, that they were creating a hype in performance. And then there was another ones that they were doing all about branding. And I believe in both, but I don't believe them in both separate. I believe in both as an integrated strategy. So that's basically what we do at the Dark Week. And so I started like 5 years ago, one-man show. And today we have 33 to 35 people full-time, plus some freelancers.
Wow, that's impressive. So you got to have some lessons learned here for the audience that maybe going through similar growth of their own business. What's some of the things that you have I wish I could tell myself not to do this or to do this earlier or differently 5 years ago that you've learned today?
Yes, I think one of the biggest learnings was that how to explain this? Okay, so it's get support. You need to get the support, but also you need to understand what's your role. Like, for example, having an agency, for me, it's really important that I'm the strategist, but then I have my project managers that work for the rest of the team. You need to create systems in place that you can know what people are doing, but you cannot breathe on their neck, because you need to do your own work. If you can never stop networking, you can never stop trying to look for new clients. Or also, it's about collaboration. I truly believe in collaboration. I feel like if you are competing with others, there's nothing is going to come off that. But collaborating with others and do it without expectation, it brings you the best rewards.
Yeah, because you're an authentic person when you go that way.
Yeah. And that's why in the Dark we always say that we break the rules, we raise the bar. We break the rules because how we communicate with our clients, what the kind of services with our clients, but also we work with transparency. Like, for example, I've seen it lately a lot that companies, we offer reports and in full transparency, and the report is exactly the same each month. I've been seeing people that they came, new clients to us, that they show me their previous report, and each report is different. So they are people that they're only showing what they did well and not where they failed. And marketing is not an exact science. It's going to change. So you need to understand that if we need to report this didn't work this month, that's why we need to change this to this and that. If I'm hiding it, it's like it never happened.
So true. Yeah, absolutely. And it's actually those things that you want to know what didn't go well to make the decisions to make those changes. And
Absolutely.
you might be also testing a theory, and all of a sudden now it's like, oh, that went really well. I didn't think it would go that well. Let's double down on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's all about learn and change and adapt, because there are always new plans, new competitions. So we always need to be doing competitive research and see what the others are doing. And also because the world is evolving image wise. Like I have, for example, every week I meet with my design team. And what we do is like, what are we talking about? It's like literally like that. I'll show up. It's like, what are we talking about this week? And they bring ideas and say, hey, have you noticed that emails have changed lately? Or I've been seeing this trend in social media. So we have 1 hour of seeing how things are changing and how they're developing. And I think it's really important to listen to your team, because I was an art director. I have certain skills, but I'm not in the ground designing like them.
Right. Yeah. I think that's such a good lesson learned call out, because I see so many times founders trying to do it all. They think they have to do it all. And the reality is that no one is good at everything. Right.
Oh, no.
And so really thinking about what are the things that either it's not my sweet spot, I'm not good at, or I don't enjoy. Right. Like, and what are those things that you could then get off your plate to really excel in the things you do that is the reason why your business has taken off.
Another thing that I did, for example, I recently created a new role that is the director of operations. There are so many things that is like, they don't need to go to me anymore. It's like, go to there. And because I need to use my time wisely. If I'm in every little thing in the agency, I'm like, getting a new software, or like someone is complaining about something or something doesn't work, I'm not doing my job. That it's really making the strategies for our clients to succeed. Another things I think I did well with the agency is, and what our clients like about it, is that I provide a project manager for each one of my clients, who is working with me directly with the strategy, but also is in between the client and the team. So the only point of contact, our clients don't need to go to these meetings with 20 people. They just go with the project manager, and many times myself, and we create the strategy, they approve it, and then the project manager is the one who is the responsible to make things happen. The client only needs to approve. So we respect their time so they can go and run their business.
I love that. And yeah, I think there's so many times I've seen that CEOs and founders, they get caught up in the weeds. Your example of, you don't need to know or care about a software if the team doesn't like it or wants something different and it fits in the budget that's been designed, then you don't need to be a part of that conversation.
Yeah, or like, for example, another mistake, I was sitting in a lot of interviews as we were growing, and still, and this is something new for me, and it's like, unless you guys need me in an interview, I'm not there anymore. I have coordinators in each area. I have someone from recruiting. I have my director of operations, which is really an instrumental role for me. It freed up a lot of my time, and like, I'm not sitting those interviews anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Other mistake that I made, you want to share that I share another one? I was part of too many communities at some point. Like
external communities,
yes,
networking
like
communities.
women's networking communities, thinking that from there it's gonna give me opportunities to grow my business. And honestly, my worst clients came from there, or my worst experiences. Women's, men, doesn't matter, local communities, because it's spaces that I had the idea, everyone had the idea. So everyone was trying to go and find businesses. And I found out that it was taking so much of my time, that I decided, I'm not saying that they are all bad or those were not the right fit for me at the time. But I chose 2 or 3 communities that I can commit to, but you cannot let they need to work for you. And it's okay, even if you pay money and you say, this doesn't work for me, to say, my time is more worth it than that money.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very true. Sometimes it's hard to know if there's an ROI in those kinds of networks, whether it costs you to be a part of them or not. But even if they don't cost you to be a part of them, they cost you time. And like you said earlier, your time is very finite, and you have to choose how to spend that time wisely. I always tell founders, one of the mantras for when I started my business is this how I should be spending my time? And it's just something that I have in the back of my head constantly when I'm doing something. Is this how I should be spending my time? If no, who do I delegate this to, or does it even need to be done?
Yeah. And there are a lot of things that they need to be done, but also they're going to have to be postponed because you don't have anyone to do it, and you need to prioritize that you need to do other things.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same as being a mother. It's the same as everything, or being you're in a house. How many things you have to fix in the house? And if they're not broken, they can wait a little longer.
Exactly. Yeah. The remodeling in that bathroom that drives you bonkers, it works perfectly fine. Maybe you should spend the money on the things that are broken.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. So true.
And the same happens with your business, and you need to be patient. But something that I really learned is not to be honest with yourself, to be honest with your team, but be transparent, but also to make sure that you don't need to be ashamed of who you are. Like, I was named Forbes Next 1000. I was shocked when I was named, but it's a big honor. So why not to say it?
Right.
So be proud of who you are, but at the same time, something I cannot stand is soliciting. So I always try not to come across as a solicitor. Like, I always tell what I do, and I think it's completely fine to just tell to everyone what I do, because I'm super passionate about what I do. And you don't know, maybe that person might not need you, but talk to their neighbor, say, oh yeah, I just heard about someone, and you never know where the connection would come from. But if you do it in an open, because you're really passionate and it's part of who you are, your business, don't just do it because of the money. Do it because it's really your core beliefs.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. That's so true. Thank you so much for sharing some of the lessons learned and some of the things that you did that you thought, felt you did right. I think, if we can learn from each other, it just, one, you're not alone, right? The pitfalls that you're going through, other people have or will be going through them too. And to have some insight into like, oh, well, I heard on this podcast, this person did it this way and they didn't want to, they wish they didn't, maybe I shouldn't. So I love that. Thank you for being so honest and transparent about that.
No, of course. And I mean, there is no one way to do things. You need
Absolutely
to do
not. Yeah.
right for you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I still have a couple clients who are big, 2, 3, 400 employees, and their CEO is still involved in the interview process. And I keep telling them they need to get out. Like you cannot be in the weeds. Like this is not the right way to be spending your money, your time. So it's hard. It's hard. Some people, maybe they're passionate about interacting with people and they don't get it anywhere else but to interview. Well, then maybe that's the right place for them to spend a little bit of their time. So it goes back to, what are you passionate about? What are you good at? What do you enjoy doing? And then those are the things you should focus on and find other people to support the rest of the needs of the business.
Well, as a CEO, I think it's important that somehow you're involved on things and you know the big picture of what's going on.
Absolutely.
Like if you have a new person, let's say in HR, you connect us. I'll say, oh, I would love to go to an interview and see how you're doing. Sometimes so it's a way. Also, because you can spook them, you can really. You never want someone to feel uncomfortable doing their job, but you want them to know that you're there to support them.
Yeah.
You are there like, hey, if you have any question, you can count to me. I mean, I might not be able to answer immediately, but that's why now I have a director of operations that probably is going to be much faster than me. But but also you spend the time. So like, for example, I have my design meetings or I have my SEO meetings, and I try to have it as much as I can, at least once a month with each team, to know that I'm a present and I know what they're doing. Also, my team is all virtual, and something that I think we do really well is create our own culture. One of the things that we did is we have a monthly challenge that they need to do something or a task, and everyone competes for it. And the end of the month, we vote the winner, and then the winner needs to do the next challenge. And something that I integrated lately is called, that's our other motto. It's we raise the bar. We create the raise the bar challenge. So anyone during the month can nominate someone else from the team for something that they did extraordinary. At the end of the month, we vote and they get money at the end of the month.
Oh, I love that.
And I think it's so important because people tend to point fingers when someone does something wrong, but they never give them kudos when someone does something right.
Yeah, I think it is. I don't know. I find that some founders, because there's so much that needs to get done, you have so little time before you have to go get more money, so little money before you have to go get more money, right? There's like this structure of like, you got to just get a lot of things done very quickly, that we tend to be so focused on the next problem, the next thing that's got to be complete. We don't take a moment and pause and celebrate what was the successes we just had. Yeah, and I think that's so important to bring those people along.
I know, on the little things, but also there's something so great about team members to acknowledge others between the company. And also there are some teams that they don't interact with each other. So there are opportunities to get to know other people.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. Well, I want to switch gears a little bit here on the second part of our podcast today and talk about how you support founders and CEOs with your business, and what are the struggles you're seeing your clients dealing with, and how you can come in and help support them.
Honestly, I feel most of my clients come with baggage. They come with bad experiences. And that's the first point that I have to say, okay, we need to slow down. I'm not gonna go and spend their time or my time on analyzing the past. Let's see where you're standing now. And this is what I see, that a lot of companies, they don't know where they're standing. They don't have, the first thing we do is I do a mini analysis of where they're standing, what I see. Remember, part of marketing is all database, but there's some marketings that they are subjective and some things are gut feeling because we've been around for a long time. Another thing that I see a lot of people failing is because they're comparing themselves with the neighbor or their competitor, and they don't know the circumstances of their competitors. They don't know how much money they have involved, what's their past, who they know, and who they give them a hand to get there. You never know what their story. So the only thing we can do is to see who you are as a brand today, where you are at, and be realistic.
I love that.
And then from there, we can create a strategy of growth. And marketing costs money. So I really believe in meeting where my clients are at. You don't have to have an excessive budget to have marketing. With a limited budget, you can have marketing. Would you have everything? Maybe not. But we can choose strategically where we start and growing.
Makes sense.